All right, guys, today we are going to be reacting to powerful lesson Germany taught me. Let's jump in.
Profound lesson that Germany has taught me. We'll touch on a famous quote from a prominent historical figure, as well as a theoretical law which helped me to realize this lesson that Germany's been teaching me all along. I've made about
that was funny. I'll have to see that again.
I've made about 700 videos on this YouTube channel.
Hey, shout out to
and the vast majority of them, probably 90% of them, I created while I was here in Schwäbisch Hall. Let's remember that fact for later.
Keys in hand, keys in hand. I have terrible OCD when leaving the house, so I always will hold my keys in my hand as I close the door to ensure that I have them.
Wow, that is kind of funny, man. That's one interesting OCD. OCD, interesting. In my case, I always know that I'm forgetting something, so I have to go back to my room and start scattering around to make sure I don't forget things. But that OCD, like knowing that I have the keys and closing the door, and that's an interesting OCD. I have to see that again.
Terrible OCD when leaving the house, so I always will hold my keys in my hand as I close the door to ensure that I have them.
Wow.
I love it when there's two different colored buildings like this right next to each other. Very beautiful. If you guys have watched this channel for a while, you know that I live...
Gorgeous aesthetic right there, man. He has a good taste, man.
Like this right next to each other. Very beautiful. If you guys have watched this channel for a while, you know that I live in Schwäbisch Hall, a beautiful town, but a small town. Only like 40,000 people live here. Compared to the other places that I have lived, Portland, Oregon, and Washington, D.C., this place is tiny.
I get asked quite a bit why I still live here in Schwäbisch Hall. Of course, I first came to play American football here, but I'm retired from that now. And I often get asked why I don't move to a bigger city in Germany. Why stay in this sleepy little town? I mean, it's a fair question. I'm a young professional. I would probably benefit in a lot of ways by living in a larger city, even a larger city here in Germany. But for now, at least, I choose to stay here because
it has taught me a lesson that I think I could only learn here. And I wouldn't say it was easy, actually. It did take a long time to recognize it, but it's something that I have felt for a long time.
Okay.
The lesson is explained well with a profound quote that I heard recently. But in the process of filming this video in downtown Schwäbisch Hall, I got sidetracked by some event going on.
We have got some fancy music coming from the Marktplatz here. I'm gonna go check it out, see what's going on.
I stumbled upon a very interesting situation.
I have no idea what's going on.
This is relevant to the topic.
Oh man, that's so typical.
On a very interesting situation.
I have no idea what's going on.
This is relevant to the topic of the video. You'll soon understand. I took in all the unique sights and made my way through the crowd of thousands of people. And I soon learned that this was the Schwäbisch Hall Venetian Festival. Now we'll return to this point soon. Eventually, I escaped the festival and found some peace and quiet.
This shot is way too dark to give you this profound quote. Hold on, let me find a better setup.
Now remember all those videos I mentioned. I create much more when I'm in Schwäbisch Hall.
I think this quote explains perfectly why I feel so inspired and creative when I am here in Germany, and more specifically when I am here in Schwäbisch Hall. The quote is, "We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us."
We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us. Oh. Damn, that's a great saying, man. That's very nice.
Whoa.
How I interpret this basically is that our environment, our physical environment around us, affects who we are, how we think, and what we do. Here's some wise words on the topic from Sarah Robinson, who is a philosopher and an architect.
I'm obsessed with understanding how the places in which we dwell shift our perceptions to integrate and incorporate the things of the world into ourselves to expand our skills and expand our very horizons.
I mean, I've lived in Schwäbisch Hall on and off since 2016. It's a small town. I've been able to explore it quite a bit, and I am still inspired. In a big city or in other towns in Germany, sure, you might have a couple nice buildings or a nice area, but then you go a block or a couple blocks and it's not so nice, not so creatively inspiring anymore. So that is what I love about Schwäbisch Hall, is that the entire place where I live, the downtown region, is overwhelmingly inspiring.
Now, of course, there's the mental aspect to this, but there's also the physical aspect to it.
When you walk the streets of Venice, the cobblestone streets will be subtly exercising your sense of balance. Researchers found that Europeans who regularly walk on cobblestone streets keep their balance as they age, as compared to their American counterparts.
Whoa, that makes sense. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Because you're still even walking in cobblestone, you're still working in that, you're still working out, you're still thinking. You're still thinking. And I think that's the secret right there, right? The secret is make sure you're still stimulating the brain.
For me, what this environment in this beautiful southern German town does for me is it makes me more creative.
It's a very cool thing to be surrounded by such architectural beauty and creativity. And this is timeless beauty and timeless creativity that we still admire and respect today. I mean, there's construction going on at this house right here, at this building right here, but there are laws in place today that if you're doing construction and renovation, the outside of the building must remain the same visually. It must keep this traditional architectural look, and I'm very happy about that because it really is such a timeless beauty, and it is very, very inspiring to be surrounded by this every single day.
In the book Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb, one of my favorite nonfiction books, by the way, he goes over a concept or law called the Lindy effect, which suggests that the future life expectancy of a non-perishable thing, like a technology, an idea, or a book, is proportional to their current age. Basically, if something has been around for a long time, it probably adds a certain value, and therefore it will continue to be around and add value. This is how I feel about the buildings in Schwäbisch Hall. They've lasted a long time because they give such an immense value of beauty and creativity and inspiration, and therefore they are still around, and they will continue to be around because of this value that they continue to add to the environment around them. This church is 900 years old. I can expect it to be around for another
900 years old? What? 900 years old.
900 years. However, this subway building has been around for 10 years. I can expect it to be gone by the end of the century.
See, one thing I didn't like is they replaced this Shakespearean Globe Theater. This was an old wooden Shakespearean Globe Theater, and a few years ago they renovated it and made it very modern. And what I think is much more boring looking. I really appreciated the classical style and the authentic style of the old version. But for the most part, they don't do that. But here is one example where they did replace the old with something more modern and kind of sterile, in my opinion.
Let's return to our Venetian festival. Although it's not architecture or buildings, it's a beautiful celebration of culture that started hundreds of years ago.
And also, it's more like a pagan culture, right? This is more pagan.
In the Middle Ages, and it continues to be around today.
I mean, if you really stop and look at these buildings, it's difficult not to be kind of in awe by them and to really appreciate them.
Being around creative old things that have been around forever makes me want to create something that will be around for a long time. And that is the lesson. Speaking of things that will hopefully be...
Nice job, Nav, man. That's great video. Let me see. Yeah, great video, man. He does. I love his channel. The music, very classical, contemporary kind of sound to it. His soundtrack is amazing. I'm gonna leave the link in my description. Like always, make sure you guys always show some support. Yeah, man. He said a couple things that just give me some homework to think about. Stay for years. Like the good examples, classical music, man. We're talking about the greatest, Monteverdi, William Byrd, Bach's family, Beethoven, Mozart, Schubert. I mean, the list can go on and on. Haydn, man, I can go on and on and on. And that music still sounds ageless. Like it's ageless. The reason I talk about that because that's my profession. I'm a classical musician, right? Oh, great thing to think about. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next one.